Life has a way of teaching us lessons when we least expect them. For me, these lessons often come during moments of joy, sorrow, or even the ordinary routines of daily life. One of the most profound reminders of life's fragility came recently during the New Year celebrations, a time that's usually filled with laughter, family, and hope for the year ahead. But this year it was also a time of loss, reflection, and a deeper understanding of the Buddhist teachings. Just when we think we have everything figured out, something happens that shakes us to our core and forces us to see the world in a completely new way. For me, that moment came when my uncle visited us during the past New Year. My uncle came to visit us during the New Year festivities. He was his usual self, full of stories, laughter, and warmth. It felt like any other holiday gathering, filled with the kind of ordinary moments we often take for granted. But life, as the Buddha taught, is impermanent. 2 days later he was gone, leaving no last words, no final goodbyes. It was a sudden, heartbreaking reminder of how fragile and fleeting life can be. But here's the thing. In the midst of that pain, I found something unexpected, a deeper understanding of some of the Buddha's most important teachings. Impermanence, mindfulness, compassion, and letting go, these weren't just abstract ideas anymore. They became real, tangible truths that helped me navigate my grief and find meaning in the midst of loss. And that's what I want to share with you today, how a single moment of loss became a turning point in how I see life, love, and the time we have with the people we care about. In the days that followed, I found myself reflecting deeply on the nature of life and death. The Buddha taught that everything in life is transient. Our joys, our sorrows, our relationships, and even our own lives. This teaching, known as impermanence, anicca, became painfully real to me in that moment. My uncle's passing was a stark reminder that life is short and unpredictable. Why do we wait to say the things that matter? Why do we think we'll always have more time? And how do we find peace when life feels so fragile? I didn't expect to find answers in something I thought I already knew, the Buddha's teaching that nothing lasts forever. We never know when our time, or the time of those we love, will come to an end. It was a wake-up call to cherish every moment, to say the things we need to say, and to love fully while we still can. This wasn't the first time I had encountered the idea of impermanence, but it was the first time it felt so personal, so immediate. The Buddha taught that everything in life is in a state of flux. Our emotions, our circumstances, even the people around us. At first, this truth felt unsettling. I wanted things to stay the same, especially during the good times. I wanted to hold on to the moments of joy, the relationships that made me feel safe, and the sense of stability that life sometimes offers. But clinging to these things only brought more suffering when they inevitably changed. I remember a time in my life when I was feeling stuck, trapped in a job I didn't love and struggling with a broken relationship. Every day felt like a battle and I couldn't see a way out. But during that time I reminded myself of the Buddhist teaching. This too shall pass. And it did. The pain didn't last forever and neither did the joy. Life kept moving and so did I. That experience taught me that impermanence isn't just a source of fear. It can also be a source of comfort. When we accept that nothing lasts forever, we can find peace in the knowledge that even the hardest moments are temporary. My uncle's passing brought this lesson back to me with even greater clarity. It reminded me that life is a series of fleeting moments, some joyful, some painful, but all precious in their own way. It's easy to take these moments for granted, to assume that we'll always have more time. But the truth is we don't know what tomorrow will bring. All we have is the present moment, and it's up to us to make the most of it. So now, I try to live with that awareness. I remind myself to be present, to appreciate the people in my life, and to let go of the things I can't control. It's not always easy, but it's a practice, one that helps me find meaning even in the face of loss. Because in the end, impermanence isn't just a reminder of life's fragility, it's also an invitation to live more fully, more intentionally, and with more love. At the same time, I found comfort in another of the Buddhist teachings, mindfulness. In the midst of my grief, I noticed how my mind kept pulling me into the past, replaying memories of my uncle, wondering if there was something more I could have said or done. But mindfulness brought me back to the present moment. It reminded me that the past is gone, and the future is uncertain. All we truly have is now. By focusing on the present, I was able to honor my uncle's memory without being consumed by regret or sorrow. I began to see his passing not just as a loss, but as a reminder to live more fully and intentionally. This experience also deepened my understanding of compassion. Grief has a way of softening our hearts, of making us more aware of the struggles and pain that others carry. In the days after my uncle's passing, I noticed how my family came together, sharing stories, offering support, and simply being there for one another. It was a beautiful reminder that we're all connected, all walking this path of life together. But the Buddha taught that suffering is universal. We all feel pain, we all struggle, and we all deserve kindness. I started to treat myself the way I would treat a close friend, with patience and understanding. And as I practiced self-compassion, I found it easier to extend that same kindness to others. Even when people hurt me, I tried to remember that they, too, were struggling in their own way. This didn't mean I let people walk all over me, but it helped me respond with less anger and more empathy. Finally, my uncle's passing taught me about the importance of letting go. The Buddha said that attachment is the root of suffering, and I saw this clearly in the days after his death. I realized how much I had been clinging to the idea that life should be predictable, that the people I love will always be there. But life doesn't work that way. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or not caring. It means accepting the reality of impermanence and finding peace in the midst of it. It means holding our loved ones close while understanding that they, like everything else, are temporary. So, if there's one thing I've learned from this experience, it's this. Life is precious and it's shorter than we think. Don't wait to tell someone you love them. Don't put off the things that matter. Be present, be kind, and be grateful for the time you have. As the Buddha taught, the present moment is all we truly have. Everything else is just a memory or a dream. So, if you're going through a hard time right now, I want you to know this. You're not alone. Life is full of challenges, but it's also full of opportunities to grow and learn. Remember that change is constant. What you're feeling now won't last forever. Practice mindfulness to stay grounded in the present moment. Be kind to yourself and others because we're all doing the best we can. And try to let go of what you can't control. It's not about giving up, it's about finding peace in the midst of the chaos. Life is full of ups and downs, and sometimes we face challenges that feel overwhelming. In Buddhism, we learn that suffering, called dukkha, is a natural part of life. But the good news is we can find peace by understanding and accepting this truth. The Buddha taught that everything changes, impermanence, so even the hardest times won't last forever. By practicing mindfulness, we can stay calm and focused, even when things are tough. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It helps us see things clearly and respond with kindness, instead of reacting out of fear or anger. Another important teaching is compassion, for ourselves and others. When we're kind and patient, we create positive energy that helps us and those around us. The Buddha also taught that letting go of attachments, like clinging to things, people, or outcomes, can free us from unnecessary pain. Be present, be kind, and be grateful for the time you have. As the Buddha taught, the present moment is all we truly have. Everything else is just a memory or a dream. These teachings have helped me find strength and clarity, even in my darkest moments. And I hope they can do the same for you. Life is a journey, and every step, whether it's easy or hard, is part of the path. Keep going, and remember, you have everything you need within you to find peace. My uncle's passing was a painful reminder of this truth, but it was also a gift. It reminded me to live with more awareness, more compassion, and more appreciation for the people and moments that make life meaningful. And while I miss him deeply, I'm grateful for the time we had together and the lessons he left behind. Life is short, but it's also beautiful. Let's not waste it.